Ever wondered why showing your true self in all its rawness can be so daunting, yet so liberating at the same time? It's all about vulnerability. Often misunderstood as a flaw, vulnerability is, in fact, our most potent weapon. It's the cradle of innovation, creativity, and change, a concept beautifully articulated by Brené Brown in her seminal work, Daring Greatly. Imagine vulnerability as the gateway to your authentic self. It's about stepping into the arena, baring your soul, embracing both your triumphs and your tribulations. It's not about winning or losing, but about the courage to show up, to be seen in all your glory and your mess. It requires us to daringly expose our hearts, knowing there's a chance it might get broken. Yet, it's through this very exposure that we truly connect, grow, and transform. Remember, vulnerability isn't a weakness, it's our greatest measure of courage. Have you ever felt like you're not good enough, not smart enough, simply not enough? Let's talk about a concept that Brené Brown dissected in her book, Daring Greatly. Shame. It's a universal emotion, an intense feeling of inadequacy that can seep into our everyday lives, often without us even realizing. Shame is insidious. It thrives on secrecy, silence, and judgment. It whispers in our ears, telling us we're unworthy of love, success, happiness. But here's the thing. When we acknowledge our shame, when we bring it into the light and say, I see you, I understand you, we starve it of its power over us. Understanding shame, acknowledging it, it's not easy. It's a journey that demands courage, but it's a journey worth taking. It leads to increased compassion for ourselves and others, deeper connections, and a life lived with authenticity. Only when we're brave enough to explore the darkness will we discover the infinite power of our light. What does it mean to live wholeheartedly, to engage in our lives from a place of worthiness? This question sets the stage for one of the most profound messages in Daring Greatly by Brené Brown, a narrative about the courage to be vulnerable. This courage is not about putting on a brave face or pretending everything is okay. It's about showing up, being seen, and owning our emotions. Imagine the strength it takes to express what you need, to articulate how you're feeling, to initiate those challenging conversations. This is the courage to be vulnerable. It's about daring to expose our true selves, even when we fear judgment or rejection. It's about being authentic and genuine, even when it's uncomfortable or scary. The key message here is not about winning or losing. It's not about being right or wrong. It's about the courage to be authentic, to expose our true selves, to risk being seen for who we really are. It's about embracing vulnerability as a strength, not a weakness. In our journey to live wholeheartedly, we must remember that courage is not about being fearless. It's about being afraid and doing it anyway. It's about having the courage to be imperfect, to be compassionate with ourselves, to embrace who we are. In the words of Theodore Roosevelt and the inspiration behind the title of Brown's book, it is not the critic who counts. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena. So, how do we put these principles into action in our own lives? It's not as daunting as it may seem. As we navigate through the course of our daily lives, we encounter numerous opportunities to dare greatly. The first step is embracing vulnerability. Yes, it's uncomfortable, but it's also the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. It takes courage to open ourselves up, to show our true selves, especially when there's a risk of criticism or rejection. But it's precisely in these moments of vulnerability that we're most authentic and alive. Next, we must tackle the power of shame. It's crucial to understand that feeling shame is not a sign of weakness, but a universal human experience. When we acknowledge our shame, we can start to manage it, reducing its power over us. Remember, it's okay to be imperfect. In fact, our imperfections make us human. Lastly, to dare greatly means to fully engage in our lives. It's about stepping into the arena, taking risks, and not being defined by failures. It requires courage, but the rewards are immeasurable. Greater self-worth, stronger relationships, and a more fulfilling life. To delve deeper into these principles and discover practical exercises, I highly recommend reading Daring Greatly. It's a treasure trove of wisdom and guidance. As Brené Brown puts it, vulnerability is not winning or losing. It's having the courage to show up when you can't control the outcome. So dare greatly and transform your life.